I'm Bailey with Kodiak Manufacturing, and we're out here today with our 6-foot medium heavy-duty roundback cutter. Our medium heavy-duty line consists of 5 and 6 foot widths. They're constructed with a 10-gauge thick top deck. Of course, they've got our solid welds around the entire cutter deck, all the way around, whereas some manufacturers stitch welds, so they may have a 2-inch weld here, skip some, weld here. And we do the solid weld just for a good base of our cutter. You know, over time, those stitch welded cutters, their tops start pulling away from their sides. We don't want that to happen. We got 3-inch channel bracing running to the front, to the rear of the cutter for bracing. And then off this 3-inch channel, we run 10.5-inch channel all the way to the end of the cutter deck. And the way this cutter is braced is very nice because you've got all your bracing in line with your gearbox channel. And your gearbox channel is the life of a rotary cutter. You know, if you pull it up, break it, anything like that, you know, your cutter deck's done and you've got to go buy a new cutter. And we don't want that to happen. And that's also why we have our solid welds in the back, the front, and both sides of our gearbox channel on all Kodiak cutters. You got a 90 horsepower box on our medium heavies. It's available in shear pin or slip clutch. A Series 5 drive line. And as always, we've got our flex hitch on this rotary cutter, which allows your cutter, say you're backing into a bank or something, allows the back end of your cutter to raise up so that you don't scalp and you keep a nice clean cut. This hitch is also quick hitch and eye match compatible. And before I forget it, we do have our 5-year warranty on our gearboxes on all Kodiak rotary cutters. Got 1/2-inch thick welded on cutter ears. Now, a lot of manufacturers, they bolt on cutter ears. So they may have 2 bolts that come in here and bolt up, and all they do is bolt it. No welding, just bolt cutter ears on. And what tends to happen with those bolt-on ears is that over time, you know, they loosen up, and if most of you are like me, you don't like to get off and tighten bolts on a cutter. You just like to get on it and mow with it. The less maintenance, the better on a rotary cutter. And anyways, you know, you let it go, you let them loosen up. Well, over time, those ears start bending, different things. And by the time you go to unhook from your cutter, you know, one ear's bent out, one's in, every which way. And then when you want to go hook back up to your cutter, you know, it's real hard to hook to an implement that's crooked. So that's one reason, you know, it's nice to have welded on cutter ears for that. And also, you know, 1/2-inch thick, you know, that's pretty thick cutter ear there. All Kodiak rotary cutters are primed before receiving a high quality gloss paint. Now, a nice thing we also do is our 3x3 heavy duty tail wheel tubing assembly. We use a tail wheel tube because tubing is a whole lot stronger than flat bar. And what some manufacturers use is a flat bar triangular design tail wheel assembly. And that flat bar, it bends real easily. Well, this tube does not. It takes a lot to bend this tube. Also, those flat bar assemblies, they usually bolt on these tabs that your back braces are on. Over time, you know, your back braces are working back and forth here, and then also your tail wheel assembly is working back and forth a little bit, and it loosens these bolts up just like it does on some of their cutter ears. And it loosens them up, and then you end up starting bending things. And once you bend your tail wheel assembly, you know, you don't have a nice even cut. Also, those tail wheel assemblies, they come out here, and they're real wide out in here. Okay, and as you can see, from here to here, you can't cut. So you really can't back up close to trees and things like that and get a nice clean cut on your land. So that's, you know, another benefit of having the tail wheel tube. And while we're talking, you know, we're talking about roundback cutters. And some people like roundback cutters because of the looks of them. And yeah, I think they look a little better, a little cleaner. Another reason is strength. You know, a roundback cutter is a heavier cutter. Also safety, and we'll get into that here in a minute, but like I said before, we've got our solid welds all the way around here. And also, which you may not be able to see this, but we've got a weld right here that welds to our side channel to our back bend here. Okay? Actually, let's come back around here and look at this. We can see it back here a little better. What I was getting at, which we came back here so we can see it better, a lot of manufacturers make roundback cutters, and we do it a little different. Lots of times, you know, of course, we've got our 7-inch tall side channel here. And a couple of reasons why we use the side channel. It's a lot stronger. Of course, you got this lip to run on right here. But also, then when we go to our rounded back, we put our back bend in here. And we overlap 4 inches. We overlap 4 inches onto our side channel. Okay. We put a butt weld here, right here. We also put one at this point right here on the outside. Okay. And then we've got our solid weld here and a solid weld here. Of course, our weld's on up there. And what a lot of manufacturers do, instead of running this up 4 inches and overlapping, they butt it right up against this with just one butt weld. And what tends to happen is the backs come off of those cutters, just butting them up like that. So we go extra 4 inches to ensure that we don't have any problems out of our back bends here. Okay. We got our blade carrier here, 5/8 inch thick blade carrier. And you know, a lot of people think, and they call it a stump jumper, and they think that it has to be a bended pan. Well, like I say, we do it a little different. 5/8 inch thick, solid round. Okay, there's a few reasons why we do it. One is, the main reason is, nobody likes to bend a pan. Nobody likes to bend a blade carrier because they're expensive. And a lot of other manufacturers, they have 1/4 inch thick bent pans, somewhere around in there. And they have problems with people bending and warping pans. Well, we don't want anybody to have to go to the trouble and warp a pan. Also, this is plasma cut. It's 100% precise. When you go to bending pans, you're not precise. You're not 100% precise. One side's always a little different than the other, and you get off balance. Well, this is completely balanced. And what this angle does in front and behind of this blade carrier is it acts as what you might call a stump jumper. Okay, say you're mowing forward somewhere, you hit a big stump. The stump's going to run, it's going to hit this, it's actually going to bring your cutter up, and that stump's going to ride on top of here like this all the way to here. Same thing backing up. So this angle actually acts like what you might call a stump jumper. So it's really a real neat design, and we're about the only company in the industry that does it. And you know, you can tell, you know, it cost us money to do this. It's more expensive, but it's a nicer design. And also on our medium heavy, 6-foot medium heavy, we have 4-inch blades. A lot of competitors will have, you know, your standard 3-inch, but we go with a 4-inch on our medium heavy roundbacks, which is nice. Of course, our replaceable skid shoes on each side. That way, you wear out a pair of skids, you pop off your 3 bolts, put a new set of skids in, and you're good to go. We got our chain guards on this cutter. They are optional, but we do recommend that every rotary cutter is purchased with a set of chains. For any more information or to locate your nearest dealer, please call our sales department at 423-336-2390.